Hello, hello, hello everyone. Let me just turn the music down a bit. Okay, hello and welcome to today's episode from our first-person puzzle adventure base game for Unreal Engine. I'm Victor. As usual, I'll be hosting the hostilities. We're gonna focus again on the dynamic light setup, trying to address most of the issues we still have left over since yesterday. Big hello to Icy Raccoon, the son of Jazzy, the son of Jazzy, pardon me, Slipcore, who is back from his vacation, and Victor XXX1. Nice. Hello everyone and welcome. So, without further ado, our classical schedule: 10-15 minutes maximum warm-up, 45 minutes working on the project, 10 minutes recap and Q&As, and of course 5 minutes of closing. So I'll get everything started in here. You know what, I'll just transition to this one so you can see my big face, not the small corner face, but the big face while I start everything up. I think we'll need Photoshop a bit at the start because I do want to talk about a few things here and there about our dynamic light setup, its advantages, its disadvantages, why, and the Icy Raccoon, you can actually testify about this. Yesterday, after I ended the stream, I went on a walk with Irina, and I discussed with her. Mostly I explained, just so I can hear myself explaining, why we will use the dynamic light setup after all. And Indie Club Live is in the house with another 4 viewers, which I'm pretty sure are, come on, let me guess, Florinel, Nick, Bing, maybe, and I can't really put my finger on the 4th one. Anyway, hello chaps and welcome to the club. Florinel, of course. Let's see who else. I'm actually, yeah. I'm actually curious who won the raffle today. Not 4. Oh, okay, then Streamlabs was reporting weird, but anyway, no worries. I'm pretty sure Nick is also in the house, yeah, and of course, Indy the man himself, Indy the cyclist. Hello, Nick. And bon appetit. So I'll do something which hopefully won't make the stream hiccup that much. I'll do a tiny little revert. Oh, okay. No, 0 impact on the stream. Or not anymore. Okay. Să-ți fie de bine, Nick. So, Mapopa, welcome back, my friend. I am starting the project right now. Hello, Indy. How's the bicycle going, my friend? Ooh yeah. The badge of honor and support, Indy. Thank you so much for that. Whoa. So let me show you how we'll start this stream. I can now switch to the stream scene. We're gonna start our stream today by crashing Unreal. Let me just reverted a project from SVN and tried to start the editor. Let's see if it at least restarts. Hashtag dev life. It happens from time to time, but until Unreal decides to wake up, whoa, that's way too intense. There we go. Ooh, I'm crashing again. I'm crashing again. Okay. Okay. Tried reopening the project. Still getting crash immediately after startup. 50 kilometers, the big 50K. Oh, indeed, that's ambitious to say the least, and I wish you luck, my friend. Okay, so I did do some reverts here and there. You know what? We don't need this. I'm just trying to remove everything that isn't already Lizard's King. Actually, I am doing backups. I have SVN up and running for the project. But nice try, nice try. Still, I might have some unversioned files here. I might have some unversioned files that might make Unreal iffy. Come on, let's try it one more time, see if it crashes. Hashtag SVN, yes. It's funny though that on the revert, almost 40 on last Saturday. Yeah, Indy, so see, now it works. It might have been that model which wasn't versioned, or it might be this discovering asset data, crawling through the project and finding something wrong. Thank you, babe. Thank you, Irina. Thank you, Icy Raccoon. You're amazing. I guess she really wanted to be on the founders list, although she is one of the founders and will always be one of the founders. But you are amazing. You got it. Now you got it. Now you got it. Okay. So, yeah, the editor is still pretty much frozen. Come on. Don't be shy. Just tier 1, yeah. Indy, she is tier a bazillion in IRL. Okay, this is still completely frozen for some reason. So now it decided to crash without, actually not even crashing, without asserting. Okay. Slipcore just subscribed. Thank you very much, Slip. Yes, I will stream 1 hour. I'll try to keep it at 1 hour. Substrain. Yes. Basically, I guess the first 10 or 15 subs will pay for a better internet. So the moment we go to like 10-15 subs, I'll investigate better internet. The option I know for now is business internet, and that's like a bazillion euros here in tiny Croatia. By the way, I found out why the internet was not working properly yesterday. It was because Croatia was going to the World Cup final. Slip, thank you so much for that, my friend. Yeah, I come back to Romania. You will stream soon. So please tell me here or on Discord, wherever you feel comfortable, on which channel, so we can go and raid you afterwards. That sounds very strange. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do I have any animations for this? Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, Irina's ecstatic about me already searching the map for where to move. You know what? I'll just delete my intermediate and saved and start it over again. Because this one should get rebuilt automatically. No animation. Yeah, okay. Thanks for helping me test that, and thank you for the spare change, sir. Yeah, I have never said this before, but using Streamlabs chatbot is actually quite hard. I never thought I would say that, ever. Yep, the project is a crashing. Which is super funny. Because this is the SVN version. So it completely hanged. Yo, Dr. Drogi. So Dr. Drogi has been absent from the stream because he watched the matches. I'm amazed you recovered so fast after yesterday. I guess you partied until the morning, Dr. Drogi. Okay, let's do something else. Aha, there is a difference in content. In blue... How can this be? Revert. That was weird, to say the least. Okay. It was probably recompiling everything. Okay, now I get it. Now I get it. There are some programmers who will get triggered by what I've said about their bots. Nick, I thought I'm just downloading a simple client and I'll have it up and running in no time. But I seriously urge everyone, especially Sleepcore, I urge you, Sleepcore, I urge you, download Streamlabs now. Maybe you'll have it running by the month's end. It's so complex. Okay, does it even tell me anything about the crash? Following summary information. Crash report. Client. Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, different internet. Puzzle adventure content, retrieving MD5 caches. Reddit is on fire. So, looks like we'll be debugging why this is crashing. It is loading a map, which is the default startup map. Yeah. I'll probably need some. Schooling from Mr. Ticalian, dude, because it's insane. I mean, the number of options. Look, I can show you. Look at this. Ah, come on, man. Look at the number of options we've got going on here. And I have to crawl each and every one and customize it and make sure it's working right. But I still don't know what crashed it, because it looks pretty clean. When opening the map, something happens when opening the map. Enough with sending the same crash over and over again. Now I might revert it to the previous version. Just to see if it works or not. Which we might need to. Yeah, exactly. But that would mean we lose a few the changes we did yesterday. What revision number though? Let's check out the log now. So so log. Deleted some folders from there, added folders to the updated with contents, switch to distance fields plus full dynamic lights. What happened here? I added a few FBXs and I changed, of course, the ini settings and the maps and the target object. Sunday. The server is working good now because Croatia is not playing, so the internet is good. But it's more like something I did yesterday with the switch to the distance fields plus full dynamic lights, or something that didn't get fully added. Oh well, let's see if this works. But still, it was pretty weird. If this works, we'll switch it again to dynamic lighting, save. Another productive day, yeah, hashtag devlife. Okay, so I understand what the problem was. We had a problem with the asset discovery, but at least now it works. So one of the assets was iffy about something for sure. Okay, we're back on the dynamic light, but no worries, since we didn't lose that many changes, we just changed a few project settings, and because I was supposed to work again on the project settings file now, we'll just redo them, no problem. Okay, so at least we've got our project back. Yay! Hashtag devlife. We're still now on the static lighting. Let me just check the rotations and translations and everything works. Okay, so it works. I want to make sure I have the latest settings on my object, so I'll quickly change to rotation. Desired rotation 90. Need 1 hour to open project. Yeah, that's how it works from time to time. Okay, everything still works, so it's there and looking good. Now what? Okay, let's change it again back to dynamic. That should be rather fast, but also I will drop the whole scale objects, because this object, the ground plane for instance, is an object scaled 74 times on one axis, 40 times on another axis, which is something totally incompatible with the fully dynamic setup we were going for. So quickly, practice is the mother of all learning, and boy, we are practicing our dynamic settings a lot. So, engine rendering, let's see, don't allow static lighting, generate mesh distance fields, generate landscape real-time GI data. This is the check mark we didn't enable yesterday, but we need it for today, so we'll drop the whole let's scale a box to make it look like a floor, and we'll start already using terrain as a floor with a 1-to-1 scale, so everything will be nice and pretty. AFK, Flipcore AFK. And that should be it for now. I would also like to... Okay, let's restart it now and make sure it still works. Save selected. Let's restart it now, see if it works. I would also like to purge the light maps from the example map. We don't need those anymore. And maybe, just maybe, I will commit now before generating the mesh distance fields. I want to make sure no settings from yesterday, like having those huge mesh distance fields, could possibly cause issues. So everything looks okay now. Now in the world settings, in the light mass settings, force no pre-computed lighting, build lighting once, propagate the change, build lighting only. I already can't do it, so I will just build everything. And it should, okay, lighting build failed, navigation building completed, everything is nice. I have 0 light maps, so we are clean. We can save everything. And now we go back to square one. But before we do anything, I'll just quickly close the project. I will commit everything and call this aha, the trickery involved here. So when I got the previous version, I had I did not have those models existing on the hard drive. Now I'm very tempted, very tempted to drop them all together because they might be the ones causing issues, but I won't do that. So I won't delete the models folder I created. I will just commit the updated settings. So updated with dynamic lights. Again. There we go. And you know what? Let's just try to restart the project again. Let's see if that works. Whoa, a lot of people in the house today. Nice question, Dr. Drogi. At this point, I'm not entirely sure Epic knows that yet, because I'm pretty sure they'd announce it at least because of the Niagara release. I hope it will include. So, looks good. Everything is good. But of course, I'm missing the models folder, right? The models folder we created yesterday. It's not that much, but I want that back as well. So on content, I will just make a update. Okay. I have that pending delete. So I'll just do a revert. So I don't delete the folder models with everything inside it. Okay. Okay, and now let's see if the project crashes after I added the models folder. And there you have it, folks. That's how we debug why we crashed the editor. It's initializing, it's loading. And now it works. Okay. I won't even bother. I won't even bother. Why should I? 3 changes. Yes, I'd like to import. Aha, because it didn't have the uasset files. But now we have them. Okay. Okay. Cool. So everything is in here. Now let's quickly go again about putting both the light source and the skylight on movable. As you remember from yesterday, we still have these issues with the resolution of our distance fields. I'll try to bring it in the proper screen. There we go. Or actually, we don't have distance fields built whatsoever, right? No, we didn't. Generate mesh distance fields. Save it. I don't know if it built it already. Come on, buddy. Did you build it? No, you didn't. Why didn't you? 1.1. Now it built it. 1. Ah, okay, so it really doesn't like it on 1.1. There we go. Nice and pretty. Nice and pretty. See, they look beautiful now. However, yesterday I kept on thinking, why do we get these aberrations? You remember the aberrations we kept on seeing, these ones, and I found the culprit. It was the ground. So I'll just hide the floor, and there we go. Why does this happen? Well, as Epic advises, but I was too much of a hotshot to listen, we're not supposed to have excessive single axis scaling on the objects. Race piece day, yes, sort of weird, but again, I will say this to myself and I will say this to everyone: read the manuals. So if there's one thing where the mesh distance fields don't work, I found out the hard way, is on excessively scaled objects. And if you just look at the scale of this object, I'm scaling 74 times on one axis, 40 times on another, and 1 time on the z-axis. And if I replace it smaller scale, but model is bigger. Race Peace Day, thank you so much for asking all these questions. That's why I've also opened Photoshop, so we can quickly make a list of the do's and don'ts when using distance field shadows. So do's and don'ts. I'm a bit dyslexic today, just a bit. The do's and don'ts. So the first thing we should, let's first look at what we should do. Okay, so I'll start by saying it, and it's the reason why I wanted to have this setting in the first place. Have as many dynamic objects as we want. And let's decrease the font a bit. You don't have to shout it. So something like this. Okay, a bit bigger. There. We can have as many dynamic objects as we want. That's why we wanted in the first place the setup with full dynamic lighting and distance fields. What else can we do? And this is again an important aspect, and I wanted it for this. Come on. no need to bake anything, all real time. But this will lead us to our don'ts, and the don'ts are also pretty important here. There we go, do's and don'ts. So, let's see, boink, boink, and we'll just put it in here. We can't have large meshes. Yes, splitting the ground to many parts is what we'll actually do, but just to we'll get back to this in just a second. So we can't have large meshes. This is because the max res of distance field texture is 128 at the power of 3. Let's try to make it look like it's a. There we go. Is 128 at the power of 3, but believe it or not, because we're talking about the 3D texture, that's not so much. So it's actually a very small resolution texture. The goal Epic had with making the distance fields is to store in a very tiny amount of data for each instance of that object its respective distance field, so then it can access it per object and calculate what's going on in real time. So we can't have large meshes, and yes, we'll have to do something about the ground race piece day. What else can't we do? So we can't have larger resolution meshes. It won't work for skinned meshes, but we'll have to use other technique to be used for those. This doesn't impact us right now that much, so we won't sweat it with this one. And what other don'ts do we have? Yes, of course, I forgot all about it. Do not, and I put this in caps lock, scale excessively on a single axis. Why don't we scale excessively on a single axis? Because we get this artifact. So I just remove the ground for now, and instead of bringing in a large mesh or trying to put maybe this is something I could do, race piece day. So I can go in my models folder and I've got myself this large meshes, like these huge meshes, right? Which I can place, for instance, like this. I'm just doing a hack now just to show why we won't be using the hack. So I could place it everywhere and then, you know, just instance it a lot of times. Is 1000 times 1000 FBX with scale 1 the same thing as 1 by 1 with 1000 scale for that bug? So in this case, where I'm having a 1-to-1 scale FBX with a large size, I can actually see the approximate. I have it exactly as you asked about it, race piece day. We're at 1026 by 1066 by 2700, but this is on one-on-one. This will work. So I say this clearly. This will work, but we'll get to the reasons why we won't use this anyway. This will work, however, okay, maybe I need to lower them a bit before we delete them, like this, I guess. So this will work. However, let's go a bit into the model settings to see why we won't use this technique. So here, I guess I'll have to enable, okay, it has the generate mesh distance field setting toggled on. So if you look at the distance field size, I don't know how well you can see it because I'm scaling down the image, but right now it's at 0.55 megabytes, right? So I'm close to half a meg for each instance. I'm using half a meg of VRAM for each instance I place in the map for this object. So this is another limitation of the distance field method. The more you instance in the map, the more you increase the VRAM consumption. And because this is a very large object, or it's a pretty large object, I would have to scale its distance field resolution. Now it's 0.3, I would probably have to go as high as, I don't know, 5 or 10. And let's see what happens with the distance field memory consumption when I set it on 10. So I'm getting, I'm still building the mesh distance fields for now. Still building, still building, still building. This is also another part of the problem. The more we increase the resolution, the more time we'll spend every time when we have to build or rebuild the distance fields. Okay. I just realized we had the same two tracks rolling for the past half an hour, so sorry about that. Okay, it's done building. And now the distance field information for this object is 8 megabytes. So that's race piece day. The big issue with this one. This is why you need that Beast PC only for lighting. Yes, I am a fan, I am a super fan of using the static lighting. You'll see limitations with the dynamic lighting later when we progress with the project. We can't have more than 4 or 5 overlapping dynamic lights or even stationary lights. I am a fan of static lighting, but for this project where we're moving large parts of the environment and where I want to teach every student that will take the course to work with the environment more from an artistic way, so we're mixing a bit the design thinking and the functionality driven thinking also with the artistic architectural way of thinking worlds. So here we'll want to shift large things around the map and change the map aspect. Some games like Skyrim use dynamic. They might also use a hybrid, which could work for them. So to use a few dynamics and maybe statics and do everything in there, it depends. I don't know about Skyrim on the indoors. I think there they might be fully static. So the problem is, just to get back to the problem we were talking about with the large meshes, I am now getting 4 meshes which use 32 megabytes of VRAM. Boom, that's that. And if we visualize the distance, the mesh distance fields, okay, this is probably not the bestest example, the greatest example, but you can only imagine how much detail this distance field and how much accuracy the distance field for this tiny little box has compared to a distance field of this larger box. So that's why I won't use the distance fields for the ground, I will instead, so I'll just erase this one. Let's stop visualizing the mesh distance fields. So I'm trading off a lot of efficiency, I'm trading off actually a lot of VRAM for sub-mediocre results. So I will ditch the models for the floor and I will just create myself a terrain. So I'll go, I don't know, a 4x4 patch terrain should look okay. Actually, I guess I can pull it off with a 3x3 patch. Yeah, this should do. There we go. Create it. Don't sweat it. No, I don't want to sculpt it right now. And maybe I'll just need to raise it up a bit. Just a bit. Just a bit. There. Some games like Skyrim have rockets as PC. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now we're in business. What did we achieve right now? So with a decent performance, and I'll actually press play and go full screen. With a decent performance, we're getting fully dynamic real-time built AO, ambient occlusion. These objects, of course, still have artifacts because remember, there's still 1 meter by 1 meter cubes scaled violently on a single axis. So of course I'm getting artifacts here. And even these objects, if we look at them, again, because of their massive scaling, are still getting artifacts. So let's actually try to see what's going on here. There we go. Everything looks already a bit better. So another problem we have with the distance field method is that they get recomputed over the course of a few frames. So for instance, this cube, which is catching, as you can see here, some AO from the ground. It's still not perfect, but it's working already. Every time I shoot it, just observe closely what happens with the black, with the darker part, with the AO on it, right? So there, and now it's stabilized. Here I think we can all see it a bit better. I don't know how well you can see it. So boink, and let's just wait for it to sit down. Sat down, and now it shows us the AO. So we have a few frames of lag, but it's not that disturbing. We can live with that. Let's try rotating this again. The good part is we have fully dynamic shadows everywhere we go, and that's pretty awesome. Now, we cannot use objects scaled violently, like this one, for instance, which is scaled quite a few times. However, the good part is now we can fully use, and I'll actually put this one in the do's, and I'll put it in green if you'd like. Of course, if we can also see it, that would be great. We can now fully use procedurally generated objects. So if you remember one issue we had in the isometric RPG, actually Slipcore was trying to help us. Does it use UV for effect? I don't think it's the UV. It might. So Race Peace Day. It might be an UV, but I don't think it's the UV we control. So remember, the distance field tries to generate a 3D texture that kind of sort of represents the model. Of course, it represents the model with a lesser resolution. So that's the trickery there. Hello Lebasit and welcome to the stream. Don't worry, you're just in time. We managed to make the project work again. You didn't miss much. Okay, so we can now use procedurally generated objects. What does... Let's not use procedurally generated objects. Let's use constructed objects, right? So now, and that's why I also, this is another reason why I wanted to switch to the dynamic lighting. Not now, Photoshop, I won't save now. Is the fact that now we can do what we were also doing in our previous stream. So for instance, let's quickly create an actor so I can show you what I'm talking about. I'll create a test actor today, and we'll actually create a proper one on Saturday, because on Saturday we'll spend some time talking about scale and how we should decide what scale versus what geometric detail we want in our project for this approach to work. But don't worry about that. Right now I'll just show you where the fully dynamic lighting setup in our project really helps us. So I'll quickly create a blueprint actor, actor BP, and I'll call it something like the test for constructed, right? And I'll do the classical construct with geometry. So I don't know, on construction script, I will add a static mesh component, but I'll put this in a for loop. For no, not for each, but just a for loop. Of course, I can do for loop, and in the loop body, the first index will be 0. The last index I will promote to variable. So I want, as a level designer, I want to be able to tell an object to repeat a mesh 20 times or as many times as I want to, right? So I'll just expose this. I'll call it length. And I'll compile, and by default the length will be, I don't know, 5, whatever, and for each one we'll have to add a static mesh component, and then we'll have to set the static mesh on this bad boy. The new mesh will be the 1 meter by 1 meter cube for now, so we won't be that creative anyway, right? It will be the 1 meter cube, and we'll have to add some offset. We'll have to set component, so on the static mesh component, we'll have to set some sort of location. Set location. Set relative location. Set the location relative to its parent. I'll hack it as much as possible now, so I won't go into the fully customizable settings of the object, but we'll just look at why this will work beautifully in our project. So I'll just set a relative location, and location will always be an offset of 1 meter on, I don't know, the x-axis, right? So 100 centimeters, but I want to increase this. So in the loop body, I will have to first make an addition because I want to add 100 points each time I set the location. So in the loop body, on the new location, I will promote variable location offset. I shall call you, and you know what? I will also want to set you here. So in the loop body, I will set the location offset. And every time I will do location offset will be the existing location offset. So it will be this plus 100 point, and let's set it by default to 0. There we go. So what I'll do now is based on how many, let's see if this actually works. So let's drag our test for constructed in the map. There we go. So I have this object which will add as many 1 meter by 1 meter cubes as I want as a level designer, right? So instead of 5, I'll go on 3. Instead of 3, I'll go on 15. And of course, we'll be able to customize if we spend a bit more time and elbow grease. We'll be able to customize the size of the object, like we can make matrices, etc. What we'll do on Saturday will be to figure out an object tile. Right now we're using a very small object, 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. But we can push the distance field method and still make it look good even with bigger objects like 10 meter by 10 meter objects or 20 by 20 meter objects. And we will find the size for a single object to serve as a tile, and then we'll tile it accordingly as we want. So instead of creating objects, quick prototype objects, like taking a box and just brutally scaling it around any way we want, like we were used to doing with the dynamic lighting, we will now create objects by controlling the number of tiles we want that object to have. The good part is, and Race Peace Day or other folks in here who were used to using static lighting, is, you know, if you add a static mesh component in the construction script, you are not able to bake lighting for those objects, because every time you open the map again, the construction script runs again on those objects and changes them. So this way we can easily bypass the shortcoming from the static lighting scenario. And this is actually super duper great. Now, I did say we're not supposed to scale more than 2 times on an axis, right? But this will still provide good results, and I'll actually test it, as long as we scale less than 2 times on a single axis. And I will actually try to do this by setting a scale on this static mesh component as well, real fast. Relative or world? Relative to its parent, relative. All right, I'll do this. And the new scale, I'll also promote this to variable, which will be called, of course, scale offset. Scale offset, there we go. And here before we do everything. I will now set the scale offset, but this time I will just set the scale offset on Y and Z axis as a random. So every time I will I'll split the struct pin, and for the Y and the Z I will just select a random float in range, and the range will be between minimum 1 and maximum 1.8, right? And let's do the same random float, random float in range, my bad folks. Random range, and the minimum will be 1 and the maximum will be 1.8. There we go. So let's see how this goes. Saved it. Yeah. Because I kept the scaling here on 0, I will just keep it on 1. Okay, there we go. So we can still get these results, right? Which look pretty awesome and amazing. And if I would just go to the mesh itself, just to check I have the distance fields enabled. Where are you? There you are. Here on the 1 meter cube, 1.1, generating mesh distance fields. There we go. So the good part now is I'm getting ambient occlusion effects. You can actually see them here. See? So this is not a dynamic shadow. This is actually an ambient occlusion, if I'm not mistaken. Let's triple, quadruple check. Of course, the bad part is now it's jittering every time I'm turning it around and regenerating, but we're good. Yep, I'm still getting some AO. Picking it up from the ground, looks like it. But let's try something more dramatic, and let's actually put this close to the ground. It's not wise running the scale jitter every time we construct, because this is what happens, but it shows the power we can harness. I'm still getting some clunky aberration here, and this one might be from another object in the world, or might be from something else, but let's quickly try to see what's going on here. Am I overlapping with any other distance fields? No, I am not. So it's not from another object in the world. It might be from the terrain. So let's stop visualizing this. Okay, and let's actually see if we need to maybe build, so the terrain builds its own GI solution. No, it still didn't fix it. AO, ambient occlusion, yes, but this is actually a fake version of the ambient occlusion, Dr. Drogi, one we've just begun setting up. So it's not like real-time AO. We still have this aberration here, and I actually want to see if by either increasing the resolution or decreasing the scaling, I'll be able to fix it. I'll first try to handle it by heavily increasing the distance field resolution scale to 5. There we go. It's still generating the mesh distance. You can disable it in project settings, render settings, and isolate if it's AO actually. In render settings and isolate if it's AO actually. Okay, let's try that one. So we're saying project settings, but now we're not using the screen method AO, and Okay, render settings. Okay, let's try this one. This one you're talking about. Okay. Okay. Ah, there we go. But this one is a fake AO style calculated with those mesh distance fields. And now with actually increasing the resolution, I'm getting even clunkier results for some reason. So let's try going back to 1.1 here, boink, and let's actually try not to scale that much. Now, I know there are still some trickeries I can do. I still have some trickeries left up my sleeve, and I can maybe show them to you. Yeah, it should not be AO, but it might be the distance field style AO, because that's what happens when you enable movable on the skylight. However, we can go actually on the skylight itself. Let's just collapse the geometry here, and we can go on the skylight, and on the settings I can soften the aberration by working with the min occlusion. So I am getting some improvements here. And let's try the multiply maybe. No, that didn't help. The occlusion exponent, how hard the occlusion should show, and the occlusion contrast. However, what I am getting here, even if I can fix it by the distance field ambient occlusion, I will not address it from here. I will try to correct the glitches by working properly in the first place. So let's just reset all the settings here. There we go. And my best bet is, oops, not here, is in the blueprint. I'm still scaling too much on this axis. So let's try 1.5 and 1.4. If you remove cast shadows on skylight, then it might get off. Oh, let's actually try that one. That would be amazing. So on skylight, cast shadows. So you mean like this? Not too bad, not too bad. Ah, okay, okay. Yes, 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 yes. That's a very good solution. Because I was using the captures. Okay, let's try something else though. Yeah. Let's try something else though. I'll just re-enable cast shadows and try to use a whatever cube map. So I don't know, this cube map. So this, by just using a cube map, this looks good. So we might also be constrained, but I'll also have to check that myself, if we need to use a cube map when working with shadows from the skylight. Okay, okay. We're all ears, Dr. Drogi, as usual. And now maybe I can turn back. Maybe I can turn the scaling back up a bit. We can maybe in the skylight try to but when I'm not casting shadows, I'm losing my distance field ambient occlusion. So that's why I will turn it on again. No, we'll just have to work with this one and maybe recapture the scene. Yeah, so we have to figure out why we still get this aberration, that's for sure. And we will do that. We will do that. Because I still want the AO to be used. Increase light quality in world settings to address this. Yeah, but that will basically scale everything up. Remember, Dr. Drogi, we are on fully dynamic lights now. So I don't think that would still work, but let's try it. They're saying set world settings. This. Nope. Nope. We are dynamic. Right now when we are building lights, this is what happens. The lighting build fails because we disabled that entirely. So these methods don't work anymore. Everything here in the light mass, forget it. Say goodbye to it. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. Maybe I'm acting crazy. Lighting quality 10. And put 2 on indirect lighting smoothen. Okay, and what am I supposed to do now? It's done because we're not using the static lighting. We're not using light mass anymore. Everything you see here now is done at real time. So this, Dr. Drogi, is real-time ambient occlusion and not screen space ambient occlusion, which we calculate by measuring the distance between pixels, which is fake and cheap. This is like the ambient occlusion calculated with our mesh distance fields. And I should okay, I can compile, no worries, but I know this won't work. We're not building anything from there. No, Nick, that's, yeah, so I know the change might be so big, I have to properly insist a bit on what we're doing. We are not building light anymore, folks. Our project now works in a fully dynamic light and setup. So this doesn't work. Look at what the log says now. Done. It's done. It's done. Force no pre-computed lighting. It's done. We're not building lighting anytime. And Lebasith, no, it's not laggy because we're only using 2 fully dynamic lights and we will be using the maximum allowed overlapping static lights we can use. So let's see, it was, we can add 3 more static lights, if I'm not mistaken. So we can add 1, 2, and the next one should cancel out. Or the next one. At some point they'll cancel out. Let's see with the details. Stationary, 1 more maybe? Yeah, okay, so we can overlap 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. Stationary is good for me, yes, but in order to use the AO, the real-time AO, I have to keep the skylight set to movable, the sky dome set to movable. The skylight, sorry, the skylight set to movable. So there we go. We can now do, however, in this completely dynamic setup, we can do the following. I can, of course, decrease the attenuation radius there. Let me just delete these ones because they have bigger radiuses and I don't want to use them. And now we can do this. Up, up, up. As long as we don't have more than 5 overlapping. Yeah, Lebasint, it was lagging a bit, yeah. Luckily, Nick didn't spot that. There we go. So now we are in a fully dynamic setup. There we go, that's it. And furthermore, we can even do this now. So we can add a movable light here. And I don't know, I can move it around, I can do whatever I want, but that I could have done before as well. So there we go. This is because, of course, of the stationary lights. And this is because everything we see here is because the objects are now dynamic. I still have to investigate why we're getting this aberration. And I think the reason is, but I have to soon close the stream. I think it's because of our skylight. We don't even need the light mass importance volume anymore. We can just delete it. And our skylight, yeah, nice, okay. I know this occlusion tinting might be responsible, because if I change the occlusion tinting, you can see it changes exactly the parts which annoy us. These ones, the specks here, or that's how it looks like. So I'm pretty sure it's something about occlusion contrast. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's something here, and exponent, but we'll have to work them out. Can you show me something before you end the stream? Yes, show me. As long as it's family friendly, Nick, I'd be more than glad to see it. So send it over, link it, or whatever whatever Florinel's wishes are. But this is beautiful. And let's, you know what, let's try to get a few more 1 meter cubes here and there. There we go. Ah, and check this out, folks. This is exactly what I was talking about. You see how it takes a bit of time, and we have these artifacts in order to regenerate the AO. This, see? You know what? I'll actually try to put it on. Physics, and actually play it a bit, because it will show exactly what I'm trying to talk about. So, boink. Come on. There. See how it's skipping a few frames here and there because it's constantly going over the AO. You've sent it on Discord. Okay, am I supposed to click it here, Nick? I mean, is it family friendly? Let's see what's going on here. Boing. Okay. Let's open it up, man. Come on. So Nick is asking me if I would put this on an LD portfolio. Yes, I definitely would. I see you've built some modules here. Ah, and you work with the lighting and everything. Very nice, very nice. This, yes. If it's a process, then I'm 50-50 on that. I'm 50-50, but the final result, no problem. No problem whatsoever. Full family friendly, yeah. This, yeah, definitely. It would serve in a portfolio. Anyway, let's regroup on Saturday when we'll try our best to fix these aberrations. We'll try to find out why this happens and how to fix it. So thank you for being here, everyone. And let's go to the closing. Let's go to the closing scene. And scene Saturday. Thank you so much for being here, dear friends. Thank you so much, IC Raccoon, and I will thank you in person in a few moments. Thank you so much, Sleepcore, for also subscribing. Nick, I would gladly play it in a lazy day, so prepare that build for next lazy Monday. And thank you everyone for watching. We'll manage to set up our dynamic lighting, no worries about it. Let's regroup again on Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Eastern European Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Daytime, and 12:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time, actually going towards Monday for the Indians. But anyway, see you again, dear friends, on Saturday, when we'll continue with our fully dynamic lighting setup for Unreal Engine. Until then, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye, bye.